Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā. Ko Owen Baxendale tēnei, and welcome to this special Matariki hauora webinar hosted by us at Community Research. I'd like to introduce our wonderful New Zealand Sign Language interpreters, Laura Charrington and Rangi Musgrave, tēnā kōrua, as well as the amazing Tuihana Ohia, who will be leading this session. Tuihana has a wealth of experience within the wellbeing space and is recognised as one of Aotearoa's leading wellbeing navigators and practitioners. She has won several awards for her work, notably the launch of Manaaki peer-to-peer support initiatives in Vodafone and Tuihana Ohia Aotearoa's wellbeing program hauora. No mātou te whiwhi, we're so fortunate to have Tuihana join us today. Kia ora no, tēnā rā o haptu koe. Tuihana, over to you e hoa.
Morena atu Māori e whānau. Before we start the session, I'm going to take us through a karakia. And seeing as we're talking around Puanga and Matariki today, I felt like we should do a karakia. Mana wātia a Matariki, ino e tātou. Mana wā mai te pūtanga o Matariki. Mana wā mai te araki o te rangi. Mana wā mai te mātakore. To celebrate the rising of Matariki, celebrate the rising of the Lord of the Sky, celebrate the rising of the new year. E mihi ana ki a tātou, tātou ka whakakotahi mai ki te kaupapa o Puanga Matariki. Ko Tuihana Ohia hau. Tauranga moana, wawa o maunga, nā te rangi nui, nā te rangi, nā te pukenga, e taunari. So yes, I'm from the beautiful Tauranga Moana, also from Rotorua. So nā te pukia, nā te uanuku kopako, nā te roto i te rangi. So it's beautiful to be here today. And I just want to mihi to each of you for taking the time and the opportunity to come on today to this webinar. And of course, mihi to our beautiful interpreter who's with us today. So mihi ahua, macha aroha to you. And thank you for the beautiful introduction. Before we get, into the mahi, into the kōrero, I always like to start these sessions with a bit of ha. And that's a bit of breath work. And I was saying, it doesn't matter how many of these sessions that I do, I always tend to get a little bit willy, a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. So I think it's always good to take it back to the essence of who we are, which is our heart. So what I'm going to ask us to do, and I can't see all your beautiful kanohi, but I'm assuming you're all there. And if you could just please plant your waiwai, plant your feet onto Papatuanuku, onto Mother Earth. Just get really comfortable. Okay, you might want to put your ringaringa, your hands onto your solar plexus, onto your puku, where your pito is, and just sit them there comfortably. Just relax those shoulders a couple of times because we can tend to kind of be a bit tense. I know I'm feeling a bit of that today. So just roll those shoulders. Roll. Keep them nice. What we're now going to do is I just want you, if you can, please close your eyes and just focus on your heart. So, kei roto in through your nose, kei waho out through your mouth, out through your waha. Okay, kei roto. Just do this in your time, and if you're hearing any noise, like there's a bit of chatter in the background here, so I don't know why, but if you hear a bit of noise, then I'd just like you to just come always back to your breath. Come always back to your breath. Okay, get rid of that chatter that may be in your hinginaro in your mind at the moment. Okay, roto. Here I hold. Good more, just do that. Okay, roto. Come on. Breathe again. Breathe again. had a couple of beautiful. Keep going. We're always here. Just shake that out of the. Hey, yeah. Okay. Can I get a couple of hearts to say how that might have felt for you? Just give me a couple of hearts. Ka-pai. You know the meaning of this time, and I have to, I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning beforehand, and that is I'm a bit of a tummy whistle. If for some reason I'm feeling a little emotional today, I would love to know what phase. I think we're in the tangaro phases of the Mataka at the moment. And so, and this time is always such a reflective time. Puanga and Matariki. It's such a time of reflection. It's a time when we need to consider, and by no means am I expert in this space. So I need to acknowledge the likes of Jane Wilson, Anaru, Q, Pei, Kiriyama, Meritini. There's many out there whom I have sought wisdom and guidance from with regards to this kaupapa. And this kaupapa is truly a beautiful kaupapa. But it is this time of the year as a time for us to really reflect. Just think about the year that's been, and to think about the year that we're moving into. And Matariki, I know this beautiful kōrero from others, and I remember it's interesting seeing and hearing the kōrero about, as Matariki as we go into the phase of Matariki, the waka descends with all those that have passed, and it descends, and then as it starts to rise, which it is now, it ascends, and as the waka descends, it's like a big net goes out, and it captures all those people who have passed, and as it ascends and as it goes back into the sky, it releases the net, and all those that have passed appear as fitu, as stars in the sky. And I also like to think of this as the time when we actually, we may have had some taumaha, some heaviness. There may have been moments of sadness, and there may be things that we want to let go of, that we want to release. And so, we also think of that time as, we've captured our own things during that time, and our own net, and our own kepe. And as we descend and we celebrate Matariki, we let those things go. And that's what we release, to let go of, to let go of those things that may have troubled us, that may have been a bit of a taumaha for us, and to really and sincerely let them go. And actually, if I'm being completely transparent with you all, that's actually a note to self as well, to let go of that taumaha, to let go of those things. And, because we sometimes tend to have a tendency to really focus on those things that have been taumaha or heavy for us, those sad times. But if I ask each and every one of you to think about, or to switch the dial on that, as our rangatahi say, and to think about all the wonderful things that we've received over the past year. What are some of the taonga and some of the gifts that we've received over the year? And because it's really, there's so much that we have been given. There's so many taonga that we've received. And we tend to, forget about those. So, what's one or two things? And we're just going to pause. What's one or two things that you've received this year? And if you've got pen and paper in your hand, or if you've got a phone in your hand, put them remind yourself of those things that you've received this year. Just go to pause, take a moment to reflect on it. Because this session is also around reflective practices. Okay. Look. That's why I think about the gifts that I've received over the past, past year. And that is, in my personal life, there's been some real challenges. What's been beautiful is the love of so many, the aroha that I've received from so many, and it's that. It's not even anything tangible that I can put my finger on. It's been about feeling it within. It's a sense of your wider, the wider that you've received from so many, the words that you've received so many, the messages, the phone calls, just the love that you've received from so many. So I'm going to take a moment to just nahi to all of those that have been so incredibly supportive towards me. But also the other thing I'm super appreciative of is this wonderful nahi, to be able to be in this space of hauora, orana, of wellbeing, and to be able to reciprocate what I learn and give that to you. Aroha mai, aroha atu. We receive love, but in turn we also give. It's that reciprocity. How do you say that word? Reciprocity. It's reciprocal. There we go. It's reciprocal aroha. We got there in the end. But also, it's a time for us to pause. Matariki, it's interesting, and, we're all reminding ourselves in Te Ao Māori that this is a time where we're supposed to be having a whakatā, relaxing. The weather is pretty, it's cold, like the sun is shining today here in Kirikiriroa as I talk to you, and it's beautiful. But it's a time for us to really have a whakatā. It's a time for us to rest. And my other thing is, it's a time for us to really be with our whānau. And whānau for some people isn't just those whom we have like mums and dads and our children, but it can be our friends, it can be our work colleagues, and to have a kaitahi, to come together and celebrate, being together as a whānau. Because this is kind of like, I don't want to downplay at all Puanga Matariki, but it's almost like our time of Christmas, from a Western perspective. It's this time where we give and we give to others. And so I would encourage you all to, enjoy a kaitahi, whether that just be with you and your partner, whether it be with whānau, but to actually enjoy that time of having kai. To send those names of people that have passed, or to send those things that have troubled you or have been troubling, send them up to the sky, send them to Anganui, send them up into the heavens where they will be received. But also, what are our moemoea? What are our dreams for the year ahead? What are our aspirations? And again, I ask you to it's really easy for us to write down 10 things or 20 things that we really want to do. But what I ask you to do is to focus on just one or two things. Yeah. To have one or two aspirations for the year ahead. They can be mahi aspiration. They can be, if you've got a business aspiration. They can be a whānau aspiration. But also in all of that, where are you? What's the aspiration for you? And I'd really love you to share. And we're going to take a little moment to just pause right now but I'd really love you to share in the chat what is an aspiration that you have for you, for your hauora, for your oranga, for your well-being, because we tend to get very caught up, is the word that I use, with the noise, the noise of things, with the noise of mahi, the noise. But what are you going to do for you? Yes, intention is every action. Someone said, meditate and dance daily. Hello, Jay Tang Taylor. Lovely to know you're here. Yeah. So what is one, if you could put it in the chat, what is the one thing that you are going to do for you?
Well,
Beautiful. Because we have to remember, right, that hauora, oranga, well-being looks like, smells like, tastes like, sounds like, feels like different things for different people. And to Dean Morgan, I send you a whole lot of aroha, and I hope that you can feel all that aroha in this space. More balance, show up for myself as you do for others. Celebrate a year of turning 50. Woo! Awesome. Take that time to embrace yourself, embrace the fun. Beautiful. Time to rest. You know, this is, Matariki is a time of rest. And sorry, why I mentioned Te Aomari before was because we've actually been elevated, right? Suddenly it's actually become a busy time for us when we really know it's a time to be quiet. Self-care, breathe deeply and intently, look up. I really like that Kaparaina. I hope that I've said your name correctly. Kaparaina, it's interesting that you talk about looking up, because there's something special about looking up in the midst of hoteri, which is winter. Excuse my hand reaching up there. Because when you look up through this time of winter, I've been kind of living between two cities, you know, between Tāmaki Makaurau and Kirikiri, between Auckland and New Zealand. What I find really beautiful about Tāmaki Makaurau of recently is the number of rainbows that have been appearing in the sky and the beautiful cloud formations. And it reminds us how much of a special time this is, you know, the Puanga Matariki time, because we can get a little caught up, you know, in this coldness, and it's cold, and I want some, and I want, you know, I want to be warm. And I would just encourage you to sometimes embrace the coldness, embrace tawhiri mātia being the atua of the wind. Lean into those spaces and look up into the sky, see those cloud formations. And this is about pausing. There's a beautiful wahine that I work with, Louise Mara. I always say Mara, but it's Mara. And she always reminds us of taking that time to pause. We need to take those time to pause. We need to take those times. We need to take it back. Yeah. To take that time back. You know, ka te kōrero, yeah, busy. You know, stop the conversation around busy. I think we can get a little caught up in that. But it's lovely to see what your aspirations, what your moi are for this space moving forward. And, you know, Matariki, there's a bit of a tagline with Matariki this year. Matariki kainga hokia. Matariki calls you home. Where's that place, space, person, people that calls you home? Where is home for you? And sometimes, from a Te Māori perspective, home is where our whenua is. But where is that place for you? Because for those of us who are here and have come from overseas, where is that place that nurtures you? I would just want to take a moment here. Where is home for you?
Or now I might get a little bit emotional.
Home for me, because I'm from Tauranga. I am from people that have of Ngāti Pukinga, Ngaitirangi. And when I go back to that place of Tauranga Moana, Tauranga Tangata, so I'm people of Tauranga, I'm from the people of Tauranga. There's so much that calls me home, which is why this Matariki I am returning home. I'm returning home to Tauranga. When I'm talking to you now, I'm sitting on the deck of my auntie's whare, her home, on a little hill that we call Taumata, with a big macrocapa tree that I know our tupuna, Meretaka, and Haimuana sit under. And they gave birth to a son, Kawate. And I know that Kawate and Wharapihi sat on that whenua and under that tree. And then they gave birth to Rōkahira. And Rōkahira sat under that tree. In fact, she lived on the taumata. And Rōkahira was betrothed to Kone Ohia. And they had Rerea Momo Monti Ohia, my grandfather. And just over to my right, I can almost see where they lived on Kairoa Road. And Rerea Momo Monti Ohia was betrothed to Tihi Kawawharo, who had my father, Thomas Richard, or Tata Ohia. And from Tata Ohia, Josephine McKissick came Tama Lawrence Ohia and Tuihana Ohia. And I sit on the bottom of that Maunga Kupu Kairoa, at my auntie's house on Taumata. I see the carpet tree, and then I look out. What I can see is Ngāpeke Rangatawa. And I can see sparkling, glistening waters of the moana. And then I can see Mangatawa, another one of our maunga. And then I can also see Mobile right out to the distance. And then I can look down and I see, there's Tahi Whakatiki. There's one of our marae romai, knowing that Tamapo is just over the hill at Mangatawa. And then just off to this side over here is Whitu o Tarangi, our koro marae. The greatest place of all places are the urupa, are the cemeteries in which Meretaka, Haiwana, Kawate, Wharapi, Rōkahira, Kone Ohia, Rerea Momo, and Tirikawa all lie. And that's why Matariki is so special, because it is calling us home, and so that's where I will return. I know that not all of us can return to those places that we call home. But where is that place, space, or who is that person, or who are those people for you? So I said Waipatiki is another place that I would call home, my grandparents' farm, which they sold a long time ago, but also Melbourne, Australia. I immigrated there as an 8-year-old and came back as a 30-year-old. My family remained there, my immediate family of 45 years. So it is a beautiful place. I love it so very, very much. Ka pai, really really enjoying this. I just whakatane, tainui waikato. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm just going to go back to the chat for a little bit. Awesome. Awesome. Kiri roa. Kari, beautiful. Oh, I know people on this call today. Puanga, beautiful. Lovely. The reason I often begin these sessions with her is because her the taonga. The reason we share the kōrero around Puanga Matariki is because it too is a taonga. The thing to remember is that Te Ao Māori is inclusive. And this is a time for us to celebrate, as it is a time for reflection. And so the other gift that you receive today is the gift of reflection, of pausing, of taking those moments. The other taonga that was spoken about today is to remember those that have passed, who are always with you, by the way, but also the things that we need to let go of, or we want to let go of. Kapa. And the other gift is our moimoi ya, our aspirations and dreams for the year ahead. And then also other gift that we often, people can sometimes mock this, but it is so essential, and that is kai. Kai is the one thing that no matter where you're from across the world, it is the one thing that can bring us together. We share in our kai. That's our other gift. And the other gift is Matariki kai ngā hokia. Remembering when we're feeling, a little bit wee wah, a little bit here, there, everywhere, when we are consumed by the busy, when we are consumed by much, is to think about that place, that space, that person, those people. And in some cases, it can be an object too. Like I'm wearing my grandmother's engagement ring, because I want her to always be with me. It's been a long time since she passed, but she's always with me. So those are the taonga. And people say, Tuihana, thank you so much for this session. But here's a piece of whakaaro. All I did was facilitate the magic that is within each of you. All I've done is facilitate your moimoia. All I've done is facilitate that reminder, those reflections of where you are. Because there's no time to also remember who we are. Puanga, Matariki. The magic is so within each of you. And today I feel like there's a lot of magic happening. Please, if you've got any pārtai or any questions, then please ask away. But this is really such a crucial time for each of us. So I encourage you, this is the only Indigenous holiday that happens around the world. So we want to make to the likes of Professor Rangi Mākamua for this opportunity to have this, and Paparere Ata Mahuka, and the many who have been behind the scenes doing so much mahi to bring this gift of this time to us. And if you want to know more, if you want to learn more, then I would encourage you to go on to matariki.com and look at all the beautiful resources there that you can share with the workplaces and workspaces, with whānau, there's a whiwhi kai, to take the time, to think about all that we had. So any pātai from anybody? Questions, any comments? Any question? Sometimes people say, you're supposed to talk for an hour, Tuihana, but, there's a widening that happens when you host these sessions. And sometimes you need to just go with that later. Oh, D. Morgan. So I've been dreaming of Ngā Whāinga from when I was growing up. Really missed my past parents and siblings. It feels extra special to be dreaming of them all more. Can I just say, Dee, that we believe, I'm just going to share something with you. When my grandparents, my nana and koro in particular, when we were with them, so we were in a bedroom, and we were with them for days on end prior to them passing. And what was so beautiful, but also so heartbreaking for us, was the loss of them going across to the other side or moving to the other side. But what was so beautiful for us was the conversations that they were having with their brothers and sisters, with their parents, with those that have passed. And the most beautiful thing is to remember that they are shining brightly in the sky, and they are shining down on you, and they are with you all the time. You might get sometimes, I don't know, I get this every now and then. I feel like someone's just kind of stroked my hair lightly. That's because they're with you, So, I just want you to remember that they're always with you. Ka pai Dee. Any other kōrero, comments or questions, please whānau, I am here to answer them. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. I just want to check for this year whānau celebrate Matariki at Rangi Awhia, starting with early hautapu. Yes. Beautiful. And I would really encourage you to look at what events are happening around. There's lots of events leading into Matariki. There's lots of events, because Matariki isn't just the day. Matariki goes on for a number of weeks. Yeah, the beautiful kōrero that you can find on matariki.com, because each of the whetū, each of the stars in Matariki have a meaning and have a significance. And I would encourage you to go on and look at those stars, at those whetū. Her place fun. I take this time to pause. Like I live. I'm exchanged from my Māori. Yes. I'll live. I don't know your family, but I feel like I know your family. And Wairua is incredibly strong. So while they may not know you ākanohi from your face or face to face, they will know you and feel you. Oh, Wairua, deep down within. And I lived in Australia for many years, and I was very disconnected from my Te Ao Māori side, and I've, taken my time and learning all about it. So, yeah, it's a gift. It's a tikanga. Anything else? Anybody else like to share? Yeah, so learn about the stars. If you can, go onto that Māori.com, Matariki.com, and And also you can, there's great resources there. Look at all the events. I know that there's many events also happening. If you're in Tāmaki Makaurau, Ngāti Whātua is doing a hautapu on Friday. And the wonderful thing about hautapu is you have a great kai afterwards, right? So it's fun. I go and enjoy some of those events. Is there anything else? Play? No more whakaaro or comments. I can see there's 78 of you online. Thank you, Jade, for putting that up. Yeah, because that's a good reminder too, is that Matariki is actually the Japanese, the Subaru cars. It depends on their cars. Pleiades, so the Greeks. It's a real ancient point. Okay. No more questions? No more tātou? Are we sure, whānau? Okay. All right. No questions from the panel? No questions? I'm just making sure I'm going to stick to my time here. So, wow. Kia ora. Yep. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to finish us off with a little waiter. And it's just to remind us of I ka kunoa hau I rue anwa I rangi o te cause I could never belong I hadn't seen born of greatness descended from a lion tree that got no So no matter your whakapapa, your family history, no matter which lands you've come from, no matter which whenua you've come from, we are all seeds that are born of greatness, and we carry that greatness inside of each of us. And that's our legacy. Remember your pūmanawa, remember your superpowers, remember your pukinga, and most of all during this time, remember those that have passed. Look to your momoia, because the magic is within. Thank you for sharing your magic with me today and with all of us in this session. Thank you so much. And now, listen to that poor baby. And now I will close us with Tarakia. Leave it be for a moment. I feel like that this is a karakia that will send us on our way, and it's around hauora. Hauora mai runga, hauora mai raro, hauora mai roto, hauora mai maho. Hauora te kūtaki o tēnei kaupapa kia pūrangi aho tātou I te wānanga me te kōrero. Tēnei te titi ake e te pauhauara ki te pūtaki o tēnei kaupapa. Tūturu o te whakamawa kia tēnā. Haumie, huie, tai kie, much aroha whānau. Thank you so much for your space, your time today. Have a beautiful Matariki and Puanga.
Tēnā rawa atu koe Tuihana, he rawe e rere kau ana ngā mihi ki a koe e hoa. Thank you, Tuihana. Thank you so much for taking us on this wellbeing journey and sharing your kōrero and your whakaaro. Again, we're so fortunate to have you join us this morning. So again, thank you so much, and thank you to our wonderful New Zealand Sign Language interpreters for their amazing mahi this morning, and also to our tech support, Adam Morse. So that's us at Tuihana. So on behalf of us at Community Research, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Thanks for joining us. If you have any feedback on this webinar, be sure to fill out our post-webinar survey that will be turning up in your inboxes, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Māori ora.